The Guatemalan genocide is a seldom discussed historical event which had massive ramifications on North America as a whole. The genocide affected over 2 million people and took the lives of over 200,000. In order to understand the genocide, one must understand the agricultural background of Guatemala, the United States' involvement in the genocide, and the impressive fruit regimes which had a stranglehold on the nation. Guatemala is a small Central American country that lies just below Mexico. The country has a fascinating past that in many ways is intertwined with its agricultural capabilities. Before the 1950s, Guatemala was an agricultural hub for the United Fruit Company to grow and export bananas. The company became so profitable and influential that it was able to install puppet dictators which decided many of the laws and policies that everyday Guatemalans lived under. The dictators aided the fruit companies in their efforts and oppressed the Guatemalan laborers and workforce, leaving much of the country illiterate and impoverished. The Guatemalan people eventually united, seeing this disparity, and decided to overthrow their fruit company-backed dictator, elect President Juan José Arevalo, the man pictured here. The election attracted the attention of many people outside of the country because the company which controlled much of the fruit production within the country saw a major loss in profits after the new democratic government took hold. The major backer of the United Fruit Company, the U.S. government, decided to protect their investment. Pictured here is the United States government, who decided above all else that money was the only thing that mattered, and not the Guatemalan people. They assassinated the president at the time, Jacobo Guzman, which led to a string of events that eventually became a civil war. The Civil War lasted for over 30 years and came to a climax when violent military general Efrain Rios Montt seized power in a coup. Montt sought to end the Civil War through all means necessary and decided that the best course of action was to root out the guerrilla rebels using militias composed of civilians and military actions. He enacted Operation Sophia, a military action that enabled the use of violence and torture against civilians that were suspected of being rebels. The military action specifically targeted civilians of Mayan descent due to a widespread belief that they supported a new communist government. The result of this military action was immense. It led to the destruction of over 600 villages, the deaths or disappearances of over 200,000, the displacement of 1.5 million, and countless other losses. The atrocities included mass murder, the creation of mass unmarked graves, the fouling of water supplies, and many others. The atrocities, based on maps like these, have been deemed to be an act of genocide due to their geographical and cultural nature. The killings were based around areas which geographically were predominantly Mayan and indigenous and did not usually target the Spanish-speaking areas of the country. There are massive databases of firsthand testimony which with Mayan individuals who can attest to the crimes against the Guatemalan government at the time. Eventually, in 1996, civil war came to an end and Guatemala came to a period of healing. There were many unmarked graves that have been overturned and still continue to be overturned as the result of the military atrocities continue to pile up. Convictions were made upon military members who carried out specific acts of genocide, but the root of the issue was never truly dealt with. The United States and United Fruit Company bears a larger amount of responsibility for these actions and should be held accountable. The United States directly helped the Montt regime and funded the arms and oppression of the quote unquote communist guerrillas, when in reality, these funds and these arms were used to oppress and kill many indigenous people within Guatemala. The fruit company, once known as United Fruit Company, has now rebranded to Chiquita Brands. One thing that we as consumers can do is refuse to buy Chiquita brand bananas because of their colonial history and the oppressive past which they represent.